Oh, hey, I'm a butt man. Welcome to Figure Nights Theater Podcast Episode 21, which is titled...
Which came first, the chicken or the kaiju?
Alright, as always, I'm your host, Andrew Schatz. With me are my co-hosts, Josh Carius.
Yo!
And R.D. Blade. How you doing?
What's up, Internet?
Yeah. Drew cannot join us tonight. There's a chance he might pop on later, but we're going to assume he's not going to for now. So he's on assignment. Alright, Josh, what did you get recently?
Of toys, absolutely nothing. Of things remotely related to this podcast, I did get issues 22 and 23 of the 2009 to 2011 Transformers ongoing series. And those are, for those who don't have the encyclopedic knowledge of Transformers comics that Charles has, that's the Chaos Theory two-parter that James Roberts wrote.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Very nice.
Those are really hard to find because they're, 5-6 years out of print now?
Mm-hmm. At least, yeah. Well, congrats on getting those. That's really cool. That's all you got?
I also got a frame for my 20-something by 40 poster for the 86 movie. It's hanging up on my wall now. What RD made a sound.
Oh, I couldn't hear anything you said, but okay.
I just made a sound.
Oh, you're showing off something. Is that a watch?
No.
The poster, I see it.
I got a frame for the poster.
I see it. Very nice. Oh, that looks good. Where'd you get the frame?
The frame I got at Michael's, where I get all frames.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need I'm looking at getting a frame for the Seige poster that I got, like the SDCC one that's signed. And just curious where you got yours. Michael's. Okay.
Yeah, Michael's has very regularly has very good sales. Like pretty much they always have some way to get 50% off on frames.
Nice. That's real nice. Yeah.
I've literally never gone to Michael's and not had or was not able to find a coupon online. So.
Well, that's good. All right. And is that all you got, buddy?
I also got the Livio Ramondelli art that he did for the 30th anniversary Blu-ray of the movie.
Oh, cool.
As a poster that they gave those out during the Fathom event that I went to a week ago today, which was awesome. First and probably only time I ever got to see the movie in a theater, and it was really fun. But yeah, they gave out posters of that, so I got that, and I got a frame for that too.
Awesome, very nice.
Using the 40% off coupon that came on my receipt when I bought the other frame.
Fantastic.
I see what they're trying to do. All right, RD Blade, what did you get?
Yes. I got and I wish Drew were here because it used to be his.
Oh.
I got Calidus.
Oh, he sold you his Calidus. Nice.
No, he sold somebody else his Calidus, and that person in turn sold it to me.
Ah. Oh, yeah.
Months later.
I know who had it last. Okay. That's cool.
Wait. So yeah. Drew sold it to unnamed person, and unnamed person sold it to RD.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
We're passing it around like a plastic joint.
So who gets it next?
I already have nobody. I'm keeping it.
What do you think of it?
Well, I think he's excellent. He's a fantastic representation of Lost Light, Rodimus. Actually, not Lost Light. What was Lost Light before?
More Than Meets the Eye?
Yes. Yes, well, More Than Meets the Eye.
Well, he does go back to the original paint scheme in the last few issues, so it can count for Lost Light too.
Okay, good. We'll just cut that hole.
Yeah. That's cool. Did you get
And,
anything else?
Yeah, I got a bunch. Like I hit the jackpot when I went to Target the
yeah?
other day, and I ended up finding a ton of the X-Men.
Nice.
I ended up getting Colossus. What's her name? Psylocke.
Psylocke, yeah. Oh, did you get
Yeah.
the purple bathing suit or the blue bathing suit?
Actually, I don't know. I forgot that there was a variant.
Ah,
I'll have
He
to
didn't
check.
notice. He just saw a woman in a swimsuit.
Yeah,
yeah.
I saw a bathing suit and I went for it.
you have to let me know which version you have.
I will. And I got the yellow Wolverine
Awesome.
and Storm. Storm, I got her at a convention because I was sure I would never find her at retail, and I
Nice.
still haven't. So yeah, I ended up getting her there.
Awesome.
But yeah, a ton of the X-Men. I don't even collect them, but apparently I guess I do.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you do.
That whole wave is pretty solid, and the Colossus figure from the previous wave is really nice. Awesome. Have you opened any of them though?
No,
Ah.
they're all hanging on pegs.
Oh, okay. That's you do that with your Marvel Legends.
Yeah, and my GI Joes, the 30th anniversary GI Joes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, you were the one who had the display
yeah.
shelf that you bought from Toys R Us, right?
Yes.
Sorry, what was it? Jeffrey's toy bin or something?
Yeah, it turns out they might need
Yeah.
it back.
Yeah, they're coming back as Jeffrey's Toy Box, and
There we go.
they're gonna be like a store within a store kind of thing, but we don't know exactly which store they will appear in this coming holiday season. I imagine they might have some pop-up stores like separate, but we will see. Yep. Thanks for
can't-
reminding me of that.
I can't wait for the astounding backlash of everyone going, "What? You're changing the name?" Boo! And then going, never mind, it's Toys R Us again.
And the logo that they showed is just way too easy to add some artwork to and make it dirty. I'll just say that. If you want to know what I thought when I heard the name and saw the artwork, feel free to ask me on Twitter or Facebook, and I'll tell you. All right. Did you get anything else, RD?
No, that's it. So what did you get though?
Ah, all right. Well, I didn't get as much as usual, which is good. I'm trying to cut back a little bit. But I got Mastermind Creations reformatted Magna. That is the Lynx part of Skylynx. And I got that, and I could not believe how much it weighed. I mean, it weighs like 3 pounds. I mean, that's got to
wow.
be like
There's a lot of metal in there, right?
yeah, there's a good bit of die cast and a lot of solid plastic, heavy ratchets, tons of articulation. He just transforms into a little box roller thing, to hold the space shuttle, and then transforming him. It's not hard. It's pretty easy to do, but it's just ridiculous how much articulation it has. I mean, you can really make him move like a cat, which is really cool. And just beautiful paint on it, really, really solid joints, a lot of ratchets, like real heavy ratchets, and the feet and like half the leg is die cast. And I think that's where a lot of the weight comes from. Then he comes with 2 heads. You can have either a painted one or a kind of a chrome gold looking one. And there's a light up feature in each of the heads. I have not bought the batteries to do it yet, but I will. But that thing is badass. And
Which head do you prefer?
I like the painted head better, actually.
Okay.
I just think it blends in with the look more. But if someone wants a more like G1 toy look, the chrome head is the way to go there. But
Cool.
I mean, he's massive even in the roller mode, and then transforming him, he's just he's huge. Like, I have it on top of an old subwoofer in my computer room because that's the only place he'll fit at the moment until I get some bookshelves. And I'm just thinking, people who are sitting there saying, I want one that's MP sized, I'm just thinking, how much bigger would that be? And I don't know how big that would be, but this thing's massive enough for me, and I'm very happy with it. Highly recommend. Then, let's see, what else did I get? I picked up, eBay had one of their coupon sales, so I got the Marvel Studios Ronin figure, and he looks pretty cool. You know, he's okay. He's not the best figure. His helmet and shoulder pads are one piece that are glued to his head, but I saw online, you know, if you work at the helmet a bit, you can unpeel it, you know, get the glue off and unpeel it from the head, and then his head can turn without causing his shoulder pads to float out in front of him, which is good because that really looks stupid. So I did that just to mod it a little bit, and it's a lot better that way. I also got the Marvel Studios Ultron figure. I don't remember if I mentioned that last time. Got that at Best Buy. Got real lucky there.
Did you say Ultron?
Yeah, Ultron from Age of Ultron. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Best
cut out a
Buy.
little bit, that's all.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, but
No worries.
Best Buy are the that's where a lot of people are finding that one lately. And then I got there's a Target exclusive Leia from the Star Wars The Black Series. I picked that up. I didn't open it yet, but it has the face scanning technology, so it looks exactly like her, which is awesome. And it's like the Escape from Hoth version, but I didn't open it yet. And tomorrow, the day after this recording, we find out at New York Comic Con what the Star Wars exclusive is. So I kind of want to see, is it something with that Leia, but like with some, you know, extra accessories or something. I'm just curious, so I'm not opening it until tomorrow at 4 or later, just to see. And that's all I got for now. All right, let's.
It's Leia in her Hoth outfit, you said?
Yeah. Yes.
The exclusive one will come with a Luke for her to incest with.
Oh no!
Wow, that was a good joke, especially from you. I would not expect you to say that. That's awesome, but that's real funny. But no, there was some I forget if it was like a UK Comic Con or something like that. Somewhere I think in Europe they had an exclusive, and it was Leia and Han. And it's their like Escape from Hoth outfits, but they're wearing like big jackets and have some extra accessories. And you know, if it's just that again, I'll be like, I don't really need that, because I know, you know, Han's coming out in a later wave anyway. So we'll see. Anyway, let's get into the meat of the show. So New York Comic Con's happening literally right now as of this recording, and the just a bunch of Transformers news came from the show, so we're gonna get into that. First thing they showed off, this may have been like early this morning or yesterday at night, there were 2 new posters for Seige, and there's one of them has Megatron like sitting on a throne, and the throne is clearly made of a Guardian robot's head. So it looks like Omega Supreme, and then kind of to the left of what Megatron's sitting on, you see the claw of Omega Supreme. So it just seems like a big hint, and we'll get to that later. Alright, so we have some new Seige Decepticons. I'm going to click this first link so I can look and tell everyone what we have. Alright, so let's see. We have a Voyager class Megatron. A leader class Shockwave. Now Shockwave, it's like a base figure, and it looks like it's probably Voyager size or so, and he has all kinds of armor that goes on him, so it can make his robot mode bigger, or it can become like a big spaceship looking thing, although if you turn it upside down it does kind of sort of resemble a gun. They did not mention if you can combine all the parts with him and make his actual gun mode or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if you can. There's a Voyager Soundwave, and he does have a button on top of him that you can hit, and it will flip open his chest, so I believe he can hold one tape at a time, and we'll get to the tapes in a bit. There is a Deluxe Refractor. Now that is Reflector, and each one of them is the same, but if you buy 3 of them, there's like certain parts you can take off. Like I think you add on the lens or iris thing to the middle one, and yes, you can make a camera mode if you buy 3 of the Deluxe Refractors. I'm just going to call him Reflector because that's who he is. And then there is a Voyager Starscream, and it is the Tetrajet looking Starscream. So that's in the first link, but wait, there's more. Let me click on this, and what do you guys think of those few reveals from that first link?
I think they're badass. That Soundwave looks amazing.
Yeah, he is pretty cool.
I don't know what that alt mode is though.
Yeah, he has like a spaceship alt mode, and he can be like the telephone pole as well.
It looks like a crappy gun.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks like a brick with ears.
You're not wrong. I'm trying to see. Yeah, go on.
And Shockwave, is that his alt mode, or is that the ship that his armor turns into?
Both.
So the picture of Shockwave standing on top of a thing.
Yeah, it looks like he's surfing
Shockwave
it.
standing on top of all his armor pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have a picture of a large-looking ship thing.
Mm-hmm.
A really cool-looking ship thing. That is his alt mode combined with all those extra parts.
Oh.
And
with some very Lego-y looking pieces on the back, I might add.
Yeah.
And that's his submarine mode.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, when he's not armored up and the thing that he's standing on looks like his head, like all the armor pieces kind of form something that looks like a big Shockwave head that he can stand on, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's what that is.
It looks like a Bay Shockwave head. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fine.
It's like a stylized Shockwave head.
And then we've got
go ahead.
Then we've got this crazy thing of Shockwave wearing all this armor, and that looks like Shockwave has traveled into another universe, found the alternate version of him, killed the alternate version of him, and then wore the alternate version of him.
He Buffalo Billed him.
Yeah, like the parts that are on his shoulders look like thicker versions of his own legs. That's why I'm like looking at those going, is there a way maybe that can all combine to be a gun mode? I don't know. We'll find out. And he does have the arm tube as well, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Until it deteriorates.
Sure. I will say my Fans Toys one has not deteriorated, but it's only a couple years old. So that remains to be seen. Any comments about any of these, RD?
Yeah, I also wanted to about any of the Cyberverse guys. I mean the Seige Decepticons.
What about them?
I noticed that they all kind of have this like they're hyper detailed. Like they have all this circuitry and stuff on them, and it's raised. And I made the comment before that they look like they've all been in contact with the underbase from the original Marvel comics.
I've seen a lot of people say that. I haven't read that, but I've just seen a lot of people saying that. So I assume people kind of dig that look.
I mean, I guess I could. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah,
I could get used to it.
It's super detailed. Yeah,
Uh,
I cannot get used to Starscream's alt mode. What is that?
That is a Tetrajet.
No.
With that is a Tetrajet with half of Starscream's robot mode sitting underneath it.
Yes, it's his legs underneath it. What I get from it, it's kind of Tetrajet looking. Yes, his legs are hanging under it, but it looks like a Viper from Battlestar Galactica. Like
the original Battlestar Galactica, right?
Yeah, or the remake. It's not too dissimilar from the ones in the remake. Did you see the remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks like that a good bit.
It's not. It doesn't seem as streamlined as those. That's
No,
why,
it's not, but that's what it reminded me of, at least. Let me look at the next link. Let me see here.
I think his robot mode looks halfway decent. More
Yeah.
than halfway. Like, it's looks like there's an ab crunch. I like the way they've
Oh, yeah, there is an
they've
ab
appeared to do
crunch,
the.
probably.
I like the thigh joints instead of doing like the hip skirts that everyone seems to think is a great idea.
Yeah.
That always looks dumb to me. They've just taken and said, okay, well, let's take this entire hip piece and just have it be part of the thigh.
Yeah. The like some of the later masterpieces like Sunstreaker do that same thing, and that is kind of cool. It helps the look and articulation.
And
I
it
noticed...
also looks like he's got a wrist joint that allows him to. I don't think it's related to him folding his arm away. But it looks like he's got a wrist joint that allows him to sort of tilt his wrist downward in the sort of way that a Megatron would do with a fusion cannon on it.
Oh, that's
And they've got him posed that way in the rendering.
He also appears to have
amazing.
light piping in his head, which I like that. I know some people think it's cheap, but I think it's cool if you can get some light on him. It makes him look more alive, which I think is cool. Alright, let me see what else we have here. So, the Megatron turns, of course, into a tank. I noticed in certain pictures his head is really squished down, and then in others it looks more normal. But he looks like if you've seen the Titans Return Megatron, he's really whitish gray, and this has that same problem in my opinion, although I think the body shape is a lot better. But he is kind of a whitish gray, and then they have that like the battle paint on him, so it's, it just looks like on the legs it looks really cool, but on the whitish gray plastic it just looks kind of dirty, like in a bad way. It just looks like
they got a little crazy with the dry brushing.
Yeah, it just looks like they just slapped it on there. It doesn't look as good. I think if they had made his like the whitish gray, if they did it more silvery like they did the Combiner Wars version, it would look way nicer.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've ever seen that though, with like Transformers with dry brushing on them.
Yeah, I like that they're experimenting with this. I hope that they can keep practicing with it and make it a little better looking.
Yeah,
but I do like the idea.
The Japanese version probably will not have it.
My understanding is, at least with Power of the Primes, the Takara versions have been identical.
Yeah,
Really?
the Studio Series and Power of the Primes is when they stopped making like the nicer Takara stuff, and they're aligned with Hasbro's, and I don't believe there's going to be any difference. If there is, I'll be surprised.
Let's hope that continues. Yeah.
Yeah. The Soundwave I think looks cool. I'm just very curious if he actually has a boombox mode that we just haven't seen yet. Like, I hope he does. A surprise that was sitting right there in the display is Brunt. Now, Brunt is the little tank dude that came with G1 Trypticon. So this is kind of like what they did, with Cog. It's a little deluxe dude that you can add to a Titan figure. Cog goes with Fortress Maximus. Well, Brunt goes with your Titans Return Trypticon. And apparently there's a part on Full Tilt. There's some slots that don't seem to go with anything. And people figured out, oh, Brunt must be able to attach to the same part there in base mode to give it a bigger tower like the G1 had. So that's kind of cool, and he turns into a crazy tank and has a nice looking robot mode as well. And Josh found something very interesting. Do you want to tell us that about Brunt?
Yes. It's Walkie. David Willis on Twitter found that this Brunt seems to be based on the Guardian. I think they were Guardian robots from Stormbringer, which was one of the earliest IDW comics. So it really does look like a purple version of those robots, the head sculpt especially. Correct me if I'm wrong, G1 Brunt did not transform. He was just a little purple tank, right?
I don't actually know. I'm not sure. You might be right.
TF Wiki.
Yep. While you're looking at that, other things they showed. Skytread, aka Flywheels, was there. Now, unlike Battletrap, this is not two Legends figures that each have a robot mode and turn into basically a deluxe size. This is an actual Duocon. He's deluxe size, and he turns into two alt modes, a little tank and a little plane. So that's cool, but there is cross compatibility with each half of Battletrap. So you could actually attach the legs to the to the top half of Battletrap, or you could attach the top half of Battletrap to Flywheel's legs. So there's some interesting possibilities there for people.
So we can get Skytrap and Battletread.
Yes, I heard John Warden say those exact words. But
oh my goodness,
yeah, that is pretty cool. I'm excited for that because that's another scavenger to add to the collection. So that's pretty cool. And they also had...
Imagine the Jet walking in and finding a helicopter on his tank half.
Oh, that's funny. But they also had Ravage and Laserbeak, and they do turn into little rectangular looking tapes, and they each have, Ravage, of course, turns into his little Jaguar looking mode. Laserbeak, though, if you look at the first episode of G1, the More Than Meets the Eye episode at the beginning when they're on Cybertron, Laserbeak looks a little different than he does when he's on Earth. And the alt mode for Laserbeak, his bird mode looks just like he does in the first episode of G1. So I thought that was cool. They actually kept it to the Cybertronian look. So that's very cool. I'm just seeing if there's anything
I thought
else.
I thought he was like more disc shaped.
No, I actually saw someone took a screen grab, and he really does resemble how the figure looks.
Oh, cool.
So that was kind of cool. Oh yeah, and as I mentioned earlier with the Titan Omega Supreme tank, the Titan Omega Supreme, that you could kind of see a hint to it. Well, they showed the tank for it. So I'm going to click on this link. Got to scroll down a little for the pictures, which don't seem to be there anymore. There they are. I found them. Haha. Alright, so yeah, someone's holding a tank, and it's rather large. It's as big as this person's hand, if not larger. It looks enormous, which is what we expect from a Titan class figure. It looks like they opened the front of it. I'm not sure what they're showing there. I don't know if it can store another figure somehow or what, but it has some type of function where the front of it opens. And they also have just the Shockwave in a picture without the armor, posed just like the Marvel
issue 5,
the All Are Dead. They have him posed next to that, and he does match the artwork pretty decently there. So I'm guessing he's a Voyager if he's as tall as the comic book like that. So that's kind of cool. But I'm excited to see the rest of this Titan class Omega Supreme. I have the Metroplex, I have Trypticon, and those are both actually really well done. I had Devastator and sold him. I refused to buy Predaking. It just looks a little cheap to me. and I didn't really have interest in the Fort Max, but this thing looks like it's just going to be badass, so very curious what the end product will look like. And cool that we got a tease of it. Anyone have any comments about Omega Supreme?
I mean, I need to see more of it before I make any decisions, but I look forward to trying to find it at an Ollie's.
Alright. And we got some official... oh, go ahead, Artie.
Oh, no, I was about to say the same thing as him.
Okay.
I'd like to see more of it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah, like, I would have loved to get one of the third-party ones, but they're very expensive. You know, they look great, but I'm kind of like, I don't know that I need a $300 Omega Supreme, even though that would be nice. And what I noticed with the Titan figures, like, every time they put one out, when it first comes out, it's like 150 plus bucks, and it slowly drops down a little bit, and then by, like, Black Friday, between Black Friday and Christmas Day, it'll go down to like $100 or less. So that's kind of, you know, if it's one I really want, that's my jumping on point. When it's like $100, I think that's a decent deal. Like, I think I got Trypticon for like 90, and then right after that he was 75. So that was, you know, not bad though.
Yeah, they dropped down to $50, but only at stores that aren't available around me. So.
Yeah. All right, and then we have some official pictures. So they showed, you know, the Battlemasters, Blowpipe, and Aimless. I think, let me see. Aimless goes with Misfire from Titan's Return. Blowpipe goes with Trigger Happy, also from Titan's Return. So that's cool. They get their Target Masters, and those are sold separately. They showed the Airstrike Patrol. Those are Micromasters, so you get 2 of them in one pack. The Micromasters Soundwave Spy Patrol, so there's your Ravage and your Laserbeak. They'll be in one pack together. That's kind of cool. I'm guessing that's the Legends kind of price point if you're getting 2 figures in one pack. That's my guess, because there are no Legends in Siege that they have shown yet. I'm guessing these Micromaster type things are what's taken over that price point. And then the little like Battlemasters, I'm guessing, are going to be like your Titan Master price point, like the $5 or $6. So that's my guess. Of course, we see Skytread, looks pretty cool. That face is...
has big feet.
It does look... oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention. It looks like every figure that's deluxe size or larger in Siege has ankle tilt. So...
oh, yes.
That is nice. That means you'll be able to pose them better. I don't see wrist swivels on most of the guys, if any of them, which is unfortunate, but that's less of a deal to me than the ankle tilt. Ankle tilt that's where you can get some really great posability and balance. Let's see, yep, Reflector, which we talked about. There's Brunt. Oh yeah, you can see his alt mode really well there. God, that...
and I did confirm that G1 Brunt only was a tank.
oh wow, so they gave him an alt mode. That's cool. Was Full Tilt the same way? Did he have an alt mode? I don't remember.
Full Tilt, but, I believe, did have a robot mode, I think.
All right.
I will check.
Oh, you're cutting out there on me. Oh, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yes, Full Tilt always had a robot mode. Why is he in Comic Sans?
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, audio cut out a sec. One thing I noticed about Brunt's robot mode, he doesn't have hands. He has like weird claws at the end of the tank treads, which is kind of cool and different looking.
Yep, and that's the Stormbringer robot.
Oh, so you think they'll probably maybe redeco him as a Stormbringer Guardian?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems I like usually Hasbro can be counted on to repaint anything into anything.
Right.
But it seems like a really, really obscure one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does, but You never
That's
know.
the sort of thing I would expect the Collectors Club to do.
Ah, maybe that's where they're going with this. We'll see. Let's see. Then there's the Megatron. Now, Megatron, he does have an arm cannon, and then the tank cannon, he can hold it and attach like a giant blade to it, and it looks like the big triangular sword his G1 version comes with. So
Yeah, it does.
that's kind of cool.
Japanese G1 version.
Okay. Well, I don't know what the US one had, so.
Nope, the U.S. Release of the G1 toy did not have the sword.
Oh, interesting. Well, thanks for educating
Later
us then.
reissues of it have included it.
Well, that's kind of cool then. But I do have to say I don't care for the alt mode. I just don't think it looks that great. The robot mode is decent. There's Soundwave with this crazy spaceship mode, and he also has the telephone pole mode that I mentioned. And you know, my buddy Richie, he just got that like the re-release of the Titans Return Soundwave, the like Bumblebee version, and he's very happy with it. But he pointed out with this Soundwave, he has the buttons on his crotch, like the, you know, rewind, fast forward, play, stop, all that, and he just thought that would be very weird for him to have that and then not have a boombox alt mode hidden in there somewhere. So we'll have to see if someone figures out how to give him one, or if he actually does have one.
I could have sworn I saw a picture of somebody holding the toy as a boombox. Or was that like photoshopped or something?
Of this,
That might
new
have
one?
been the Titans Return one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one did turn into a boombox. This one I haven't seen anyone do anything with like that yet, but you could be right. Looks like Soundwave comes with his shoulder cannon, comes with his gun that has a little like silver part that comes out of it, and then he's holding like some crazy giant pistol as well. So he's pretty armed up. Looks pretty cool. His chest has like a bunch of scratches on it, like he's been in battle. His robot mode does look really cool, and I believe on one of his hands, his left hand has a little pointer finger on it, and I think he can hit the button to open his chest. But when the chest opens up, it flips down all the way. It doesn't just come out a little. It flips down completely. So there is that too. Yeah, there's Starscream.
Yep.
And
He's got a pointer finger. Very subtle, but it's there.
Nice.
I can see it in the display pics.
And he's got like the double jointed elbow.
He does, which is nice. That's nice that they did that, because the only other Soundwave I know of that can hit the button on his, you know, on the top of him is the MP. So that's really cool that this one can do that. There's Starscream. We talked about that. Oh yeah, you're right. Starscream does have that thing with the waist flaps, where they're just part of the leg and flip up. I don't know if I can't tell if that's ab crunch or not, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's there. Let's see, we already talked about Shockwave, which is cool.
We haven't mentioned it yet, but it looks like either this is a thing that they're doing for the display, or all of these figures come with pew-pews.
Oh, those are actually the Battlemasters. Each come with an effect piece. So that's what those are. Yes. So like
That's
So
cool.
the little bitty dudes come with the pews.
Yeah, the Battlemasters come with blast effects, or I know Lionizer comes with like a swooshing effect, so you could put that behind like a car mode and make it look cool, which is nice, or with a sword and make it look like it's swooshing through the air. What is the... Okay. Let's see. So, another thing, I had asked Mass Toys what their thoughts were on the Tetrajet that was just shown. Let me pull that up on Twitter and get their response real quick, because it was good stuff. Okay, so I asked them, Mass Toys, what's your reaction to the Hasbro Seige Tetrajet Starscream that was just shown, especially in comparison to yours? Yes, we know yours are much more premium, smiley face. So, Mass Toys said, Beyond some slight similarities, the two figures are going to be wildly different, not only in size and scale, but in how they work as well. Renegade, that's their Starscream, is more premium and features more parts, more articulation, and a more engaging transformation than the Seige version, to be sure. Then they added, however, it's always nice to see other interpretations, and we're sure this will be the Tetra-style jet for some people, so more power to the design. Or you can just see Chris McFeely's reaction. And Chris McFeely was not too kind to the Seige Starscream. He said, "So how long do we have to pretend this looks in any way good just because it's something people have been stomping their feet to get for 35 years? So he's not a fan. I think the Starscream looks decent for like a $25-$30 Voyager. I think it's decent. It's not great. It's not terrible. The Mass Toys one, I didn't go in for their Kickstarter because I went in for the Unrustable Bastard. He's pretty cool. I think I got my money's worth on him. I'm sure the Mass Toys one is going to be worth whatever it's going to end up costing. But I just thought, I got the Unrustable Bastard and I, saved a little money by going with the Kickstarter. And I'm like, I want to see how their product ends up before I'd consider buying it. Just because it's, it's like $100 and I really want to know that it's good, But it does look cool, and it does look better than the this Seige version, in my opinion. But I will probably pick up the Seige version, knowing me. I just want to see it in person first. All right, any other thoughts about the Seige line before we move on? No? Everyone good?
I do want to just sort of lightly touch on Reflector.
Yes, Reflector. Go ahead.
I like the there's some really clever engineering in what they've done with him being sold as individual pieces, and how each piece comes with a gun piece and a shield piece thingy. And I really like the interconnectability of them, in that the gun piece just looks like a gun with a cool radar dish piece on it. And then the shield piece just looks like it's obviously a third of a camera lens. But then when you put you get the three shields and stick them together and you got a camera lens, but you take the three guns and stick them together and you have a legit tripod, and that's really clever.
That is cool. The Perfect Effect version
they're
also
all identical?
did that.
Well, no, the Perfect Effect version had one Gatling gun, and you would open up the barrels to make a tripod, which was also super cool.
That was.
But this is a really clever way to do it for the way they're trying to sell him, and I love the idea that you looking at the gun by itself, I would not have guessed it was going to do that.
And to answer RD, yes, it's one deluxe, and you have to buy 3 of them to make the camera, and they are all identical. But the iris, like that's on like the middle dude's chest, that's a part that can come off. So, I don't know if it's like an extra part that comes with each of them or what, but it's something to where all 3 of them don't have to look the same, because the middle dude obviously needs that part. But
right.
that is cool.
Spyglass.
I'll assume you're right, because I have no idea. But yeah, I think that's really cool. I like the deluxes here, and so far looking at all the Decepticon deluxes, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty much in for all of those. I like the 2 Battlemasters that go with Misfire and Trigger Happy. I'll probably pick those up, but anything bigger than that, I'm kind of iffy. Like, I don't really need a Shockwave. I don't like the Megatron, stuff like that. But they did have stuff they announced before there, like Optimus and Hound, and they look nice. I don't totally need them, but I thought they were cool. I was a little surprised Ultra Magnus wasn't on display, though. Like, they've shown him before, but I just thought they would show him here, and they did not. Alright, let's move on to the next thing, which is the Studio Series. Now, for some reason, they showed off one figure, just one, and it is a Studio Series Drift with the 3 baby dinos, and that's an exclusive that you can pre-order right now on entertainmentearth.com. So let's see, yeah, it's Drift, and it's looks like it's just a repaint of the Last Night version of Drift, but his colors are way more accurate. And I swear I saw, well, I don't see what the names are of the 3 dinos right here, but I saw them earlier. They had really cute names. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There they are. So it's Sharp T, that's Sharp Dash T, Terry, which is Pterry, kind of cute, and Tops. So that's their names. And if you go to Entertainment Earth right now, you can pre-order it for $26.99. So there you go. And
Yeah, all things considered, that's not a bad deal with the little Dinobots.
yeah, it's not. I'm curious if they're gonna release it like a normal version and it just doesn't have the Dinobots with it or something. Would be my guess. You know, to hit that like $20 deluxe mark. But we'll have to see. I don't know. But that is all they showed off for Studio Series. But not bad. Next, some listings on Walmart.com kind of clue us into other figures that are coming in the Seige line. So for Voyagers, there were listings for Starscream, which was confirmed at this show. We, figured he was coming. Then Thundercracker, Soundwave, and we're gonna get a Voyager Springer. Now, there's no pictures yet, but that is very cool because they have not made a Springer since the 2013 Generations version, which many people, and I would agree, is the best Springer. That's just an awesome
Why
Springer.
make another?
Yeah, maybe one of the third-party MPs, maybe that's nicer, but for a official Springer, that is the nicest one. So I'm guessing the new one will be far more like G1 looking, is my guess.
That's my guess too.
There were listings for some Battlemasters. So there's Caliburst, and that is Slugslinger's Target Master. So that's coming. And these other two, Smashdown and Pteraxadon, which sounds like a pterodactyl, but no telling who they're supposed to be or if they're just new characters that they're making. So that's kind of cool. Alright, then we, of course, got confirmation of the leader Shockwave, Voyager Megatron, Deluxe Flywheels, and there is a Deluxe Sixgun that is coming, and that will be one that can go with your Titan-class Metroplex. And I'm all about that. No pictures of that, but it's probably just a repaint/retool of Cog, is my guess. But that remains to be seen. Alright, and then, let's see, no, that was already confirmed, but, let's see, yeah, we're going to have Micromasters, let's see, we're going to have an off-road, a spy, and a sports car patrols, so that's cool. We already talked about Aimless being a Battlemaster, that goes with Misfire, and, Deluxe Prowl had a listing. Now, he's been seen on some of the posters for Seige, but this confirms that he's getting a deluxe figure, and that's really cool. And a lot of people are asking, oh, does this mean they'll repaint him, into blue streak and smoke screen? And here's hoping. I know Drew would like that. Any comments about those listings?
I'm curious about this Springer. I'm sure I won't get him, but I want to see what they'll do with him, with their new design aesthetic and just the whole ideas of the higher tier in quality that they're aiming for right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be very curious to see that too, especially if he has ankle tilts, because that's the one thing that's missing on the Generations figure. But yeah, I'm very curious. I do love the Generations version. Just so nice.
Those Target Masters will be mine.
You're in for all of them, or just the ones that go with figures?
The ones that go with figures.
Okay.
Figures that have previously come out. I mean.
Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. I think there's another one, I forget what they're calling it, that goes with the Hot Rod figure as well. But I can't remember what that was named. But we've talked about that before. But that's
Firebolt.
Okay, yeah, sure, we'll go with that. All right. So next up we have MPM Masterpiece Movie Series, MPM-7 Bumblebee. Now this is a Masterpiece version of the Bumblebee from the new Bumblebee movie that's coming out. However, it's based on a slightly earlier version of the design than what's in the movie, because the figure has the door wings on it, but in the movie, Bumblebee doesn't have door wings. They're either folded back or just not there. We'll ask a question about that in a minute. So the figure has die-cast parts, an attachable battle mask, an attachable blaster, an attachable blade. He has the Volkswagen Beetle alt mode. All the accessories can store in both robot mode and alt mode, which is cool. And he has some kind of like reddish paint. I guess it's supposed to resemble some like rust details on it, give him a little bit of an aged look, which is kind of cool. And this his alt mode, of course, is much larger than the G1 Masterpiece Bumblebees. The robot mode is a little bit shorter than the previous movie Masterpiece Bumblebee as well. It is available to pre-order right now on Amazon. I think it was about $80. I think it was $79.99 or so plus tax. So probably about $85 once your tax is in there. It's on Amazon Japan as well. It was $95, but it dropped down to literally about the same price that US store, the Amazon US is charging. So there's that, and you also cannot order it from Amazon Japan. It will not ship to your US address. So just go with Amazon USA. So here's a question for you. Does it matter to you that the figure's design doesn't 100% match with the movie design?
Yes and no.
Okay, explain.
First off, I already have the Masterpiece movie Bumblebee of the 2007 design.
Mm-hmm.
Give or take. Apparently, it's not exactly the right car, but I don't notice or care.
Yeah.
Sorry, Drew.
I have that too, and it's
that
nice.
That one really looks like he just stepped off the screen, and I really love it for that.
Mm-hmm.
The transformation is irritating sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a lot, especially with his calves. There's a lot of you have to bend the plastic to get the pieces to fit where they need to go, and that is uncomfortable. And I don't think it's sustainable over long periods of time.
Yeah.
And I love that figure. I love that design.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about this Bumblebee, the Volkswagen one, is that I like that this design greatly resembles the later design, or the earlier design, however you want to look at it. It feels much more like the same character than the design that they ultimately used in the movie did. The door wings are very much a part of the way movie Bumblebee has looked, and so keeping them there in this design, I feel, is more cohesive.
That makes sense.
Now, that said, I prefer for my toys to look like the thing they're supposed to represent. So I'm a little divided on it, and I do think that the way the door wings on this toy work is, it seems just the slightest bit cluttered. And I think the reason his whole backpack section is cluttered is because they opted to keep the hood of the car one piece, which, with that in mind, they did a really good job of it, actually. The alt mode looks very gorgeous in how much it doesn't look like there are hardly any panels. The panel lines are mostly where the door logically is, where the windows are already. You know, there's one seam down the side behind the driver's side door, and a couple like right around the headlights. But apart from that, it very much looks like a whole piece, and I think that was a really clever choice that they made. It just resulted in a less streamlined robot mode. Not that it looks bad. They still ended up with the door wings where they ought to be. It succeeded in something the other movie masterpiece one we didn't do, in having like those lower wing parts.
The fairy wings.
Whereas the last one had those parts in that place, but they were the wrong way around, and they could have easily incorporated a way to swivel them around so they would actually look like what they're supposed to look like, but they didn't, and that irked me.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, I like the way this looks. I wish that this design was the design they kept for the film, ultimately. Because if that were the case, I would be way more tempted to buy this thing. And it kind of just depends on how I feel about the movie after it comes out. If I end up falling in love with this version of Bumblebee in this movie, I probably will end up wanting to buy this. But as it is, having just the design to go off of, I like the 2007 design better than this one.
All right.
I just think it looks cooler.
Yeah.
There's something weird going on with the paint. Like the bottom half of the car looks dull and faded, whereas the top is like clean and pristine and vibrant.
Yeah, these pictures are, the light on the figure is way too high, and it's obscuring some of the paint details, unfortunately. Like, I've seen some other pictures where, you know, you can see like the orangey, reddish paint detail on them a lot better. You know, like the ones with the black background, you can kind of see it in robot mode a little bit better. But
yeah, they've gone for sort of a natural shading effect, which I actually really like.
Yeah, it does look good, actually, and you know, pictures I've seen. My buddy Eric, I think, just got the figure. He got it from the Chosen Prime, and I haven't asked him what he thought of it or if he's opened it yet, but I will, and hopefully he'll like it. I pre-ordered it for now on Amazon because you can always cancel, you know, anytime before they, you know, charge you for it, and I don't think it's when was it? I don't think they're shipping out till like November 15th or something like that. So there's like a good month plus to think about it. But I did pre-order it. I like what I see from it. I've seen a lot of crazy poses that he can do, and I just thought it looked really cool. So I did.
Hang on, did they take the Autobot insignia off of his forehead? I was sure I'd seen it with the insignia.
I
Still
see
has
it.
it molded on.
I see it there, but you can like barely make it out because the light is so blown out on it. It's still there. This is really hard to make out. At least I think it is. I see like a little red sploot. Yeah, it's there. Like, look at the very last picture. You can kind of see it there. Oh yeah, and I like the
I'm not buying that, but okay.
Okay, I see it there. The battle mask, the eyes on it are kind of like compound bug eyes, which is kind of cool looking, I thought. I thought that was nice. But, hold on, I'm gonna blow up the picture. Yep, there is an Autobot symbol there, dude. It's definitely there.
Where?
On the forehead. Like right in the middle, on the forehead, the very last picture, there's an Autobot symbol right there. Like,
it's molded in. I mean, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's like really large pictures.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, you might be right that it's. That's right. That first big picture, you don't see an Autobot logo. It's just molded. Huh. Weird. Yeah, you might be right, Josh. I don't actually see one there, which is very strange. Does he have an Autobot symbol anywhere on him?
It's supposed to be on his forehead.
Yeah.
That's and well, on a steering wheel, but the toy doesn't have a steering wheel.
Yeah, you might be right. That doesn't totally bother me.
I want to know what you guys are seeing.
I don't see it anymore. It's just, I think the shadow on that molded in part. Yeah, I see what RD's
Because I remember seeing it on there in previous pictures. It feels like they've removed that paint application for the final version, and that's just
Weird.
sad because nobody makes one small enough to stick there.
Yeah, I'm curious because the smallest Autobot symbol I have is from the Ripper label sets where, for Titan's Return figures, have these really itty bitty Autobot symbols that can go where like the screw is on the Titan Masters. So that maybe is small enough, maybe not. If I have an extra and it does work, I could send it to you if you want it. Excuse me.
I actually have a couple of those because I have some Titan's Return sets.
All right.
I just got to find the things.
Well, let's move on. So, little third-party news here before we talk about some other stuff. Perfect Effect announced this kind of crazy Optimus Prime figure. It's PE-DX10 Jetwing Revive Prime. Now, I'm going to click on the link and talk about it. So, this combines design elements of G1, G2, and the live-action movies. Alright, so the truck mode is G1, but it has some flames on it, so kind of G1 and movie. The trailer is totally G2. It's a black trailer. I think it has a stripe on it, I believe. Yeah, it's like a black trailer with like a red stripes on it. So it's very G2 looking. Let's see. The cab has some flames from the movies, as I said. Now the trailer can become armor for the Optimus Prime robot mode, and he looks like Jetwing Prime from the movies, and the remaining parts become a giant gun he can hold, and when he's armored up, he's about 9.5 inches tall. The trailer can also become a kind of a movie Jetfire looking plane that the Optimus bot can ride or surf on, which is kind of funny and cool. Kind of reminds you of Beast Wars a little there. And
they're literally trying to get every Optimus they can possibly think of in there, aren't they?
Yeah,
that looks like fucking cool.
And then he also has an energy axe, and all the pieces of this, all the armor pieces can become the trailer. I wrote cab, but that's wrong. The trailer or store inside of it, and it's $135 on BBTS. And yeah, what do you guys think of this crazy thing?
It looks fucking nuts.
Yeah,
but
in a good way.
Yeah, in a great way. I love the way it looks.
Me too.
There's like one sticking point for me, and it's the false chest on his back.
Let me look at that. Oh, I see.
Like the actual truck front is on his back. It's upside down.
Now, it looks like to me and to a lot of other people. Now, Perfect Effect made a little Optimus Prime figure that can be like an upgrade part for the Power Master Optimus Prime or Jinrai from what series was that? Titan's Return, I guess. And,
I believe so.
Yeah, and people think this is that figure, but maybe made a little bigger and then heavily modified because the legs are completely different. And I know that one had the actual truck on its back just like this, and that would explain it because that's a very Jinrai Optimus, feature to have. So that
I see it.
might be why that is like that, and I see what you're saying with that, but I think that's not the biggest deal in the world. I don't think that's a deal breaker.
It's definitely a Jinrai thing.
One thing cool about the unarmored Optimus. He looks like he has the abs from Dark of the Moon, which is cool.
Wee bit.
Yeah, it looks like he has those, and I think that's cool because I actually liked the abs in that movie. I thought it was fun. I'm just looking. It does not look like you can store vehicles in the trailer because they show it only with like some Studio Series figures on top of the trailer, and it's like, well, he's not gonna do that, you know. You don't see trucks driving down the road with little cars on top of a trailer, you know.
My guess is the inside of the trailer is, busy having all this stuff in it.
Yeah, that is my guess too. I do like how the trailer looks. It reminds me of the MP10 trailer a bit, with some of the details, like the stability, whatever they're called, between the tires, like the front and rear tires. I don't know what those are called, but
Thingy doos.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what they're called. Our buddy Stu would know, I bet. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else to say about it. That gun that he holds when he's armored up, it looks like he holds it underslung, like, under his arm, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the gun's so massive and heavy, he has to hold it that way. Yeah, this thing looks amazing. It's just crazy all the things it's combining, though. I'm just seeing if there's anything else to say. It's actually really clean on the back when it's armored up. Like, they have renders of it, and it's just super clean looking.
I love the Energon axe. How they went full on for an axe, which is the more traditional thing. But if you look at the axe itself, they went all out with giving it the aesthetic of the movie Prime swords.
Yeah, they really did. I see that now. Yeah. It's detailed very similar to that. Yeah. Looks like the hands...
Like right down to even having the same weird little thing right at the base of it where it connects to the arm.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're talking about, yeah. I'm looking at that right now. It looks like the hands also have some articulation. I don't know if it's like a single pinned thing for all the fingers, but it looks like they
It's hard to tell when they're renders.
Yeah, it does look like it can open and close somehow.
It looks like a single pin.
It looks like a single pin for all four fingers.
But I believe that's an upgrade
from
the first version of them.
Nice, that's good. Yeah, I think the pricing for this is probably about right. I mean, Perfect Effect makes a hell of a nice product when they get it right. It's just they paint a figure like no one else I've ever seen. So this is really amazing, and I'm actually kind of interested in it. It's not what I usually buy. I don't really need another Optimus, but just something about this is really awesome, and I've always wanted a really nice figure that has an armored up feature, and this definitely has it. So I might consider getting this depending when it's coming out.
I wonder if that candy apple red is the actual final paint job, because that looks nice.
Hopefully, yeah, because I mean, I have their IDW looking Fort Max figure, the Warden, and got the paint on that is just phenomenal. I mean, just incredible. And I've heard that they, any other figure they've put out, is painted to the nines just like that. So hopefully this will have that nice automotive looking paint on it. I really hope so. Yeah. For the price it should. Yeah. All right, anyone else have comments? Oh yeah, looks like he has two other guns with him as I scroll down, which is nice. Like the unarmored Optimus, there's a picture of him holding two guns.
Those little fat guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of... It looks like they combine like his G1 gun with... You remember that like crazy gun he had in the movie that was made up of like his fuel tanks? It's like it's combining those two aesthetics. Huh. That's interesting. This figure just has a lot going on for it. Yeah. Very.
I really wish that this were like something that Hasbro was using for something, because I really like the design.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people who, as much as I love the design of this figure, it doesn't represent a thing that I like.
Yeah.
It's a concept for Optimus, but that concept doesn't exist anywhere except for the toy.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's like, okay, I need a character for him to be. So that I don't have that association for this design. But again, like, this is a design that I would instantly buy if it had a character that I liked attached to it, besides just the concept of an Optimus Prime. By the way, his basic robot mode legs are the IDW Don Figueroa legs.
Oh, wow. So it's combining IDW as well. That's just crazy how much this is combining. Someone really just whoever designed this just loved all kinds of different Optimuses.
Yeah, he took all his favorite Optimuses, stuck them in a blender, and made a beautiful smoothie.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a good way. All right, we'll let that be our final thought on that, because that was beautifully said. All right, next up, I'm going to go through some Marvel Legends news. This is not comprehensive, but this is what was shown at New York Comic Con. All right, let's see here. That's just pictures, so I don't want that. I want the next link, which actually says what they showed, if it ever loads. Here we go. So we have, let's see, they're making a Forge figure. That's an X-Men character. He looks very similar to how he looked in the 90s cartoon and in the comics, so that's a buy for me. I really like how that looks. There's going to be a Caliban Build-A-Figure, and that's the Build-A-Figure from the next X-Men wave. Also, Forge will be in that wave. There's a 6-inch Beta Ray Bill figure. People expected that to be a Build-A-Figure, but it's not. So that will be coming up in a later wave. I'm going to take a guess that it's going to be in the next Avengers wave, but we'll see. There's a 2-pack that is Kraven and Spider-Man. Now, this is a Spider-Man with his black suit, the symbiote suit, and it comes with an alternate unmasked head for Peter Parker, and it looks like he has a black eye and some blood details on him. That's really cool. You know, if you like the Kraven story, that's a badass 2-pack right there. Go ahead, Artie.
Oh, no, I said wow.
Yeah, that's really nice. Now, this is an exclusive, well, I don't know if it's exclusive or not, but it went up for pre-order on Entertainment Earth today at 4 as of this recording. Today is October 4th, by the way. It's a Thursday. So this is a 2-pack. It has Supreme Leader. I don't know who that is. And then Arnim Zola. And this looks like they took the Build-A-Figure Arnim Zola, tweaked it a bit, gave it a different head, different stomach face in it, and looks really cool. So if you're into those two, there you go. There's a 2-pack. Go to Entertainment Earth, you can get that right now. Then we also have a 6-inch Night Thrasher figure. I've heard this is a very obscure character from Marvel. I know nothing about him, but there he is. We're also going to get a Corvus Glaive figure, so there's another Black Order. Oh, and look, Ebony Maw as well. Those two look like they jumped off the screen. I want to get them. I picked up a Proxima Midnight for cheap from my Walmart. There was one like hidden somewhere, and I grabbed it, and she's pretty cool. So now I'm like, oh, they're making all of them. I need to go to eBay with one of those coupons and pick up the Build-A-Figure Cull Obsidian. Anyway, next up, they have the we've talked about this before, but they have the Deadpool Chimichanga Surprise with. Actually, this is something else. It says Deadpool Chimichanga Surprise with Mystery Filling Wave 2. I thought this was the scooter, but I don't know what the heck that Deadpool thing is. Let me click on that. Okay, so these are like little tiny, mini figures that are. Okay, these are like blind bag little different Deadpool figures. Yeah,
they're Chimichanga Surprises.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's different banana pools and squirrel pool, pirate pool,
Banana pool.
even a Santa Claus pool. So there's a lot of silly stuff there. So if you like Deadpool, there's going to be these little blind bag things if you're into that. I'm not anymore, but that is kind of cool. All right, but wait, there's more. So right before the show, I was just looking at some links and seeing if I missed anything, and there are a couple other figures that were announced. There's going to be a Jubilee figure. Now, she looks incredible. She looks just like the 90s comic book or the cartoon. I know the last Jubilee was a Build-A-Figure from a... there was an exclusive X-Men wave that was only at Toys R Us, I believe. And that Jubilee went sky high because she was the Build-A-Figure. And very hard to find and get her all together. And this one looks better than that one. So that's pretty cool. And can't wait to get her. And
wow, she's got the bubble gum.
I'm looking through the pictures if I can get to her. If you say she does, then she does. I can't tell from these pictures.
She's blowing a bubble.
That's cool. Awesome. But yeah, she's coming up, and that will be really awesome. Can't wait for that. And then there's something in here called Force. I don't know if that's a character or what, because I don't see anyone that would be Force, but what do I know? So whatever Force is, that's coming. And they did have Caliban's Build-A-Figure there that they were showing off as well. So pretty cool. What do you like here, RD? I know you're the other Marvel Legends dude besides me.
I missed that link.
Which link?
The one I think you're looking at.
Oh, it's the third one, but I was looking at that. But there's some official pictures. That's the second link. Or if you want to just look at the displays.
I think the Jubilee looks great. Did you manage to find pictures of her?
I did. Just give me a sec. I can find some for you. And I'll share them.
Yeah, I actually wasn't. I wasn't interested until I saw the pictures, and I'm like, damn, that looks dope.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can find that.
I might bite.
Hold on, I know where I can go to get it. 1 second. There it is. Oh yeah, she does have a bubble. Here, I'll share this link, and then you can see really clear pictures of her. Let me go to Skype.
Oh, I'm on it.
Paste. There you go. Yeah, MarvelousNews.com had some like 2 actual pictures of her. So yeah, she's wearing her yellow trench coat. She has her pink shirt on, her little jean shorts with a black belt on. Has her like,
safety goggles.
Yeah, pink safety goggles. Her black hair. She's blowing a bubble. I'm sure she has an alternate head. Yes, she does. That doesn't have that. Has her like blue gloves on. They look like kitchen cleaning gloves, but maybe that's sexist for me to say, but that's what they look like. And then she has her blue boots on. Yep. So she looks pretty dang cool. I can't wait to get her. She was all up in the cartoon and comics I read when I was young, so gotta have her.
Yeah, she is prominent.
Yeah. And they showed Night Thrasher, who he kind of reminds me of like a it looks like someone took Daredevil and Kick-Ass and combined them. That's how I would describe him. He's wearing like a black armored looking suit with a little bit of red detail on him. The helmet really reminds me of Kick-Ass's mask. So I don't know who the dude is. And he's holding like 2 batons that look like they could join together like Daredevil's. In fact, I believe those are just repaints of Daredevil's weapon, the Netflix Daredevil. But yeah, I don't know who he is, but he's coming out. Yeah. So pretty cool. Any other comments about the Marvel Legends?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Oh, let me mention some things that were on display that I noticed that we didn't mention before. So they had the Professor Xavier in his hover chair on display. Looks really cool. Apparently it's he's gonna come with the was it Cerebros helmet he can put on, and there's like his mental power effect that's you can attach to it as well. I've heard there's different panels and stuff that you can open on like the arms and different places on the chair. Supposedly he has a blanket that you can put over his legs. There's a part you can put the whole chair on to make it look like it's hovering. And I believe that I read somewhere that I want to say it was Professor X comes with a alternate head that you can put on the upcoming Kingpin figure, and it's the Shadow King Farouk's head, and boy is he ugly. That is just evil. Looks like thing from your nightmares, which is pretty accurate to the Shadow King. It's like he's wearing like these weird green goggles, his face is all gray, he's got just nightmare fang tooth smile, and then one of those
I hated the books with Shadow King.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I have any, but I know I've seen them before, and in the Legion TV series, especially season 2, he was all up in there, and I really liked the character. How would you describe that hat? It's like like one of the Shriners hats, If you know the Shriners, it looks like one of their little red hats that they wear with a little tassel on it. So he has one of those. Let's see, talked about that already. I think everyone else we've talked about. Yeah. Oh yeah, they had Silver Sable and a new Black Cat on display. We've mentioned those before. Of course, they had the actual Kingpin figure on display. There's Forge looking real cool. If the picture ever loads, he does have his red headband on. One of his thighs is cybernetic looking. He's got his crazy like cowboy or Native American looking boots on. He has a small gun and a giant gun, and the rest of him's kind of blue and yellow for his X-Men suit, and there's a big X on his belt, and he's got some type of like straps on his shoulders. I don't know if he has a backpack, and yes, he does have his little mustache, so very cool and accurate. All right, let's move on to the next thing. So before New York Comic Con, maybe a few days to a week before, there was the Hobbyfree2018 China toy show. And this is not comprehensive. We're not telling you every little thing they showed off. But there's this new company called Final Victory. Let me click the link. And they showed off masterpiece scaled kind of G1 versions of Huffer, Warpath, and Brawn. And this got a lot of people's attention because they look pretty dang good. Now the aesthetic of them, they're very G1, but they're kind of beefy looking, kind of beefed up. Like Huffer's not like super slim looking. Like it definitely looks like Huffer, but his arms are kind of beefed up a bit, and his legs have the tires on the outside of them. I really like these all have kind of big chunky feet, which is really cool. But Huffer and Brawn, like Huffer's helmet kind of looks like Magneto's. Now that's
oh gosh, I see.
That's not totally inaccurate, but in G1 his helmet doesn't look like a helmet. Like his face is right, it's not indented. Like this figure has his face indented, and it looks like he's wearing a Magneto helmet instead of it being like flush with his face. That doesn't bother me, That does look kind of cool. Let me get to the next dude.
It's the eyes. The eyes are indented, and that shouldn't be. Right.
And then Brawn, a lot of people said, "Oh, he's wearing Juggernaut's helmet," and I'm like, that's not really inaccurate,
Man.
Yeah, that's just what Brawn looks like.
Yeah, but they made this Brawn, instead of being kind of a stumpy, shorter dude, like sure he's short and he has giant feet here, but they kind of made him look a little beefy in the upper body. That doesn't bother me either. I think Drew pointed out that his bronze shoulders have some details in them, and then I forget if it was Drew or who said, this kind of looks like they combined G1 with animated a bit. Now, I've not watched a lot of animated, so I don't know what about this might look like animated to some people, but I could see that. And one thing interesting, the legs have tires on the outside and the inside. I'm not sure why, but just a design choice. And the one complaint people were having about all of these, the hands are just in a static pose. There's no articulation to them. They're just very plain hands with a little peg hole. They're open hands at least, so at least there's that. What do you guys think of these?
I think they look cool. Their faces are a little too organic looking.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Braun's transformation is going to be pretty creative.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he has both sets of tires behind each leg, that actually looks pretty clever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not.
Where do you see the tires behind the legs? Because I don't really see that.
Yeah, I don't have a picture.
There's only one
right here.
There's only one picture of him.
There's a couple, but yeah, I don't know if there's more. No, let me see here if I can. All right, if you click on the, is that Braun? Yeah, Braun's the one that has the two tires. If you the link, if you click on, if you see they have 3 different links for each figure. So if you click the one that says G1 Braun and scroll down, there's some extra pictures that show him from behind somewhere in the thread. Let me see if I can find it for you.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. I see why they're saying that.
Yeah, but I don't know that
I can see it, but only because I can't see like both tires on one leg. But what I can see is like there's a tire on the outside of the right leg and on the inside of the left leg.
Yes.
Hold on, let me see if I can share this picture or not. I don't know if it'll let me. Nope. Okay, but hold on. Just copy image. Let me see if I can paste it for you. Then you can see it better. There you go. It's coming in through Skype. It's just going to take a second. There it is. Check your Skype chat and you'll see he has both tires back there, which is kind of crazy.
I see.
Yeah, so I don't know if it actually like transforms to put the tires up front, how it works, or if they're hiding like in his back somewhere. Now I had a little issue because the back has a little bit of hollowness in it, and you can see some of it. So I don't know if like the sides of the, the top of the car is on his back, and I don't know if the sides of it are supposed to be flipped out, because that's how every other Braun is. So I don't know if it's mistransformed or not here. But I think these look.
There's a hollowed out bit in his back where his head goes, and there's a back panel that covers up that hollowness. And Andrew isn't satisfied.
Because you can see some of the hollowness. It's not a big deal. It's not a deal breaker. I'm probably.
Why are you staring at his butt, Andrew?
Hey, I'm a butt man.
Because he's brawny.
I think we just have our intro. But, I have the Bad Cube Brawny figure, and he is pretty cool. He's a little more stumpy looking like the G1. But there's things about this I like too, So I don't think I'll replace mine. If I got one of these, it would probably be the Huffer if I got one. But seeing comparison pictures with, other figures that are out, like, comparing Braun to, the G1 art, to the Bad Cube, to the really blurry preview that Fans Toys showed. It's like the Fans Toys one is closer to the G1 cartoon look, for better or for worse, and plus it's a blurry teaser image that you can't really make out anything. You know, so
Why is that a thing?
Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing. That's weird. But I'm probably not going to replace my Bad Cube Brawny with this one. Maybe if the Fans Toys is good. Or maybe if this one, when it comes out, just has stellar reviews. That's possible. The Huffer here, I think, is equal to the Bad Cube one. So I'll keep my eye on this, because I think the Bad Cube one's kind of hard to obtain now. It's, you know, all the copies have sold. But the Warpath is cute, but I really like the Fans Toys one that they previewed. So I'd probably go after that. Are either of you guys into any of these Final Victory ones? Would you pick up any of them, or do you just think they look cool?
I just think they look cool. I mean, at the right price, I would definitely pick up that Brawn.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go out of my way.
I understand. Yeah, and I don't know what they'll cost. Couple issues I had. Another issue I had. Well, two others with the Brawn figure when I look at it, and it could just be because it's a early prototype. The hands don't really bother me. I don't care that much. It would be nice if they had articulation, but not the end of the world, because I think about like Masterpiece Bumblebee's hands, and they're closed fists, I believe, and they work fine. But like the shoulder joints, it looks like his arms are sticking off the sides of the shoulder joints a bit. Like they're not flush up against the body, and I wish they were a little closer to the body. And then his feet are literally only on the front of his legs. Like the ankle tilt's only on the front. It's not like the whole bottom turns. And that's, not the biggest deal, but it's like, I just feel like a lot of figures stopped doing that. It's kind of an older design to do that. So
I think it's because of the way the legs transform. I'm pretty sure the legs unfold and become the whole bottom half of the car.
You're probably right, yeah. I bet you're right about that. But, that's very minor, and at least he has, big chunky feet, because the Bad Cube one, his feet are kind of below his legs, it's separate parts, and it's not really accurate to G1, but it's still decent. But, yeah. Alright, any other thoughts about Final Victory? I'll assume that's it then. Alright. So next up, X-Transbots showed off a few things. Very surprising things too, I will say. So they showed off a G1 looking Alita 1, an Autobot X/Spike. I'm guessing that doesn't transform because it's not a transforming figure.
Why would it transform?
Yeah, exactly. They had a Quintesson Executor. And then they showed off a kind of slightly updated dark gray prototype of their cup figure, their Masterpiece cup figure, which they call Locke. And from what I understand, the head is now a bit larger than it was on the earlier prototype that they showed off in color. And I think it looks, the cup, it really has my eye, because I've seen the Fans Toys one, and it looks really cool, but it does have the little split down the middle of the chest, and the back's a little messy, and I've heard transforming it, you have to move, kind of bend plastic past plastic, and not to say that X-Transbots won't do the same thing, but I just felt like the X-Trans one looks a lot more like he does in the cartoon in the movie, so that really has my attention. Looks like he has two guns and his little Target Master, if not two Target Masters. So that's really cool looking.
Also, looks like he comes with a Sharktacon tail.
Oh, you're right. Yes, he does have a Sharktacon tail.
To reenact the bit where he tears a tail off of a Sharktacon and starts swinging it around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for mentioning that. I forgot that. Autobot X looks just exactly how he should look, I would say. It looks like the hand has a lot of articulation. He just looks like an amalgamation of the different characters from G1 just like he's supposed to. Pretty cool. No idea what the cost will be since it doesn't transform, but because it doesn't transform, I would expect this to be painted to the, not the 9s, the 10s. And yeah, it looks really cool.
Ha, because it's Autobot X.
Oh, I didn't think of that, but yes. God. We're bad with the puns. It's like dad jokes. Quintesson, Executor, that's cool. What I really hope they'll do after this is make a Quintesson Judge with the 5 faces, because I had the Impossible Toys version years ago, and while it looked kind of good, the paint on it was really like gummy and tacky feeling. It just didn't really feel like as high quality as it should have. So if X-Trans wants to make, things like Autobot X and the Quintesson, Executor, I'm like, hell yeah, give me a real Quintesson Judge, and I would buy that.
I want to see the Judge and the... Not sure what his role is. The Inquisitor, maybe?
Oh, like the big...
That has the Imperial Magistrate reached a verdict. That guy.
Yeah. Yes, I know who you're talking about. That would be cool. Yeah, just get the whole court there. That would be nice. RD, any thoughts about any of this? Especially Elita 1?
I'm in.
You're in for Elita?
Yeah. And I think that X-Transbots they're in a position to become like the new Impossible Toys, except, with better quality stuff.
Yes.
Because they seem to be on the verge of putting out stuff that nobody else will do. Mm-hmm. And that there is a demand for.
Yeah, I that's one thing I really like seeing about this stuff, Yes, other people are doing a cup, but it's not that. They're doing a freaking Elita 1, G1 looking, not exactly, but pretty close. And yeah, I love that they're making like the non-transforming characters that you can add to your collection. I just think that's a really good idea. Who would think anyone would ever make an Autobot X? Especially like a really premium looking one. Who saw that coming?
I did not.
Yeah, I did not either.
I saw a lot of
I
customs.
saw it coming in the dock.
But yeah, that's just really awesome. I just want to get another look at Cup here. That looks really good. Like some of my friends thought I was crazy to not get the Fans Toys Cup. But when I saw that, the original renders for X-Transes, I went, I'm going to wait because there's something about this that I like. And, after I got their Cosmos, I went, it seems like they're really improving their quality a ton. Because I think the only dud they've put out recently would be their Octane, which came out after Cosmos. But I believe like their Stunticons that have come out have just been solid. And, whether or not you like how they designed their Skids figure, he's supposed to be really solid as well. So if they can keep that quality going, I feel like X-Trans really nails that G1 look. Like just to a T. Mm-hmm. That's just my opinion though. Alright, any other comments here? Nope. Okay, let's move on.
It's a Quintesson Prosecutor.
Oh,
is the one that I wanted.
Okay.
Apparently have also been called Inquisitors.
Okay, cool.
I looked it up.
Hopefully they will make some of those. That would be nice. All right, this other company called T. Hongli Model, and then I've also seen the name Chariot of the Gods with them. I don't know if like that's a toy line that they're doing or what, but they're doing some more of those the animal looking G1 characters from that art book. So they have Starscream, who turns into a falcon, and they call him Red Falcon. That's PF01. Then they have Wild Hoof, and that is Wheeljack. That turns into, a wolf-looking robot. Wolf-looking alt mode. Then what's interesting, they showed off some, I think they're Legends or maybe Deluxe size. They haven't really specified, but they have HFO1 Gallop, and that's Prowl, and HFO2 Siren is Smokescreen. Then they have an MFO2 Battle Blade Bumblebee. And on top of all that, they also have an IDW-looking Optimus Prime. I didn't see a name for him, but he's definitely in all these pictures here. So I just thought that was really cool that they did that. You can't really see him in these pictures, actually, but trust me, he's there. Oh, there he is in the next link. It's MFO1 is IDW Optimus Prime, and people think it's Legend size, but that hasn't been confirmed all the way. What do you guys think of these?
I really love that Starscream. It reminds me of Zor from the old He-Man collection.
That sounds familiar. I don't remember what Zor. How do you spell Zor?
ZOAR.
Let me look that up real quick. Okay. Oh yeah. The bird that the witch lady had. Yeah.
The sorceress.
Yeah. Zor. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, that does look like that. Very nice. That is really cool.
It's so bizarre.
It is.
It is. It comes from that art book. We've mentioned it before, like the jungle cat looking hot rod is in there.
Yeah.
Jazz turns into some type of horse, which is cool.
It's just so interesting that for this Starscream especially, he just looks like a regular Starscream, and suddenly, oh no, he's a bird.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
He's a dope ass bird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking bird, even though it's just oh no, we do have a prototype. I'm looking at the art.
Oh yeah, there is a prototype there.
That thing
crazy.
Looks huge.
That's a big figure.
That's quite the wingspan.
I'm guessing the the feather part of the wing probably folds either into the wing or behind it for robot mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's a nice one, and he doesn't look like a bird with a bunch of robot kibble under him, but hey, maybe he is. Oh no, he does have a little bit of kibble, but I think it's better than the the new Tetrajet. Oh yeah, the wings do. I see in the render the wings do fold up, kind of behind in robot mode. That's pretty clean looking. Like the robot mode, that's super clean.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. So the head of the bird mode must store inside the cockpit in the chest, I'm guessing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, and he has little energy swords. The Starscream does. That's cool. And I really like that Wheeljack design. Him turning into a wolf, that's just crazy looking. Yeah, that's really cool. His head's very Transformers Prime looking, I notice.
It is.
Yeah, which I like as well.
Why is he not named Wolfjack?
Wolfman Jack?
You need to write the company and
had such
ask
an
them that.
opportunity with the name Wolfjack.
Yes, that would have been awesome. Yeah, and I don't know if the others, if they're Legends or Deluxes or in between, but some of those look kind of cool, like the Prowl and Smokescreen, and the Bumblebee especially is very cute looking. So something to keep our eyes on. All right, let's go on to the next thing. Of course, Fans Hobby showed off both parts and the robot mode for their Double Evil figure, that's Overlord, and they showed off both alt modes and the Power Masters, each one of those were on display. Pretty huge figure, very huge. I remember seeing the prototypes of the airplane mode, and I swear it looked like it was like 14 inches long, just that part. It was huge. And then a few years ago, this company Rising Force teased that they were going to make a Menasor, and then they fell off the face of the earth. Now they're back, and they're showing off their drag strip figure, and it looks okay, but wow, the thighs on it are like little thin sticks. So I think they might be a bit too late with. I mean, you've got God knows how many Stunticons out now, and you have, like DX9 is doing them, X-Transbots is doing them, and Fans Toys. So if you have all that, I just don't see how this company can even hope to compete, especially if Dragstrip has...
Can the Combiner Wars be over?
Yeah, I hear you there. They're going to make them all gigantic like the Toy World Constructor, and then they might be done for a bit, but probably not. But yeah, just interesting. Rising Force is coming back like that. Excuse me. All right, next up, and this is where the name of the show comes from, we have Mastermind Creations DZEF Prototype Pictures. All right, so I'm going to click this link because some of these were colored by Chogo King as well, so they look really cool. So this is Mastermind Creations IDW style Deathsorus. So this has changed quite a bit from the renders, and I would say in a good way because it's much more IDW looking in the pictures here. The beast mode is kind of like a kaiju looking bird, so it's somewhat IDW looking but also somewhat kaiju looking, and by that we mean like the general body shape is more like Godzilla than like a chicken or rooster like it is in IDW, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
The other way around, IDW is much more of a traditional dragon shape, and the original G1 is very much a cheesy kaiju bird.
Okay. All right. I just thought the IDW one looked like it was a cheesy kaiju bird. But, all right. I mean, like a cheesy, bird, like a rooster or something in IDW. Anyway, that doesn't matter. He has one breastmaster in the IDW version, and it becomes his chest. That's the tiger breast, I think. And yes, they're called breastmasters. Yeah. All right, and then...
Actually, they're called breast animals.
Breast animals. I don't think that's better.
Of the breast force.
Of the breast force, yeah. That's really not better. But I'm sure it's a completely different word in Japanese, and maybe it makes more sense there. I don't know. But anyway, of course the figure is named after Decepticon Lenny, if you know him. He's on Facebook, look him up. He takes really great pictures, and he's like the biggest MMC fan you've ever seen. Amazing display in his home. Anyway, people were saying things like, "Oh, this isn't Masterpiece. I wish it was bigger." And Chogo King, I loved his response to someone. He literally took a picture of the reformatted logo and drew a bunch of red arrows pointing to it, as if to say, "This is a reformatted figure. It is not a masterpiece. Nothing in reformatted is masterpiece." So, there's that. And then people were saying, "Oh, I wish this was G1. Is it going to come with like G1 wings?" And Decepticon posted on TFW in reference to a G1 version. He said, "There's basically DZEF Continuum mode will include a classic head, wings, and chest. Classic styled tiger and eagle, so there's both breastmasters, and it will have the figure, the mini classic beasts that I just mentioned, a rifle and a mace, manual, comic, and a bio card." So literally there's going to be a normal IDW version and then the Continuum version if you want a G1 styled one. So there you go. Both kind of parties get what they want this way. Now, what do you guys think of how this looks?
I think it looks
Artie,
cool.
you go first.
I think it looks cool. I'm not familiar with the character at all.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know Deathsorus was a thing until recently. I learned it from this podcast. I learned it from watching you.
Nice
yeah,
reference there.
Thank you. But yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be buying it.
You will not?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Josh, what do you think of it?
I'm really torn between the MMC version and the Planet X version. I like the changes we're getting in the MMC right now. I like that he's much more IDW styled. I like that they're going for the option to have him either way. Sort of what they did with their 6-shot back in the day. How they made a continuum version for that to make him more G1 rather than their stylized version. Yeah. And I actually really do like the kaiju head design that MMC came up with. I think it's a really interesting looking head. I like the that it has a beak, that it has teeth, but that it has all these spikes / feathers / horns, whatever you want to interpret them as. And the robot mode head is just beautiful. MMC's always been very good at head sculpts, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
And looks very Milne. I love the 4 eyes design that Deathsorus has. My big issues though with the MMC one are his hands are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're big, and his arms are really long, but the arms are that long in the comic book, but his hands aren't that big. So there is that.
Yeah, I don't like the way his hands work. I don't like... Well, I mean, I like that they're very... I think what the reason they've done this is that they were going for full posability on the hands, and they didn't want to do the dinky little KFC type hands. They wanted something beefier. But I think they sacrificed proportions in that regard. If they wanted to do that, I think he should have given them a bigger head. Because that's the thing, is like the hands look fine with those arms.
Yeah.
That just means he looks like a huge hulking dude, which I'm not opposed to. But you need to have a big head to go with that. Otherwise, he just looks like he's got a tiny head.
Yeah. I agree with you there. The head is a little tiny. I think that could be a little more tweaked, but the overall design of it is amazing. You know, they have a picture of it next to Overlord, and it looks like the head kind of goes to like almost the neck on Overlord, and I just took my tape measure and measured Overlord up to his neck is about 10 3/4 inches. So that kind of gives you an idea how big the robot mode of Deathsorus will be. I love how this looks, the MMC one. Before I was thinking, MMC went really G1 with their original render. It wasn't really IDW all the way. And since they tweaked it and showed this, I'm like, wow, this just, for me, I like it way more than the Planet X one, especially in robot mode. I do think, the arms are a bit big, as are the hands, but I like how the hand design looks like claws. Like the fingers look pointed. They have like a pointed end on them, and I just thought that kind of goes with the, big kaiju dragon turning into a robot thing for me. I like how the lower legs below the knees are very curved. I think that looks really awesome. And I like all the little like piston looking details on the front of the legs. I think that's cool. Yeah, I really like how it looks. I think the bird mode, making it more of a Godzilla type look, works for me. I really like that. I agree with what you said with the head. The wings look very IDW, which is cool. I'm wondering how much articulation they have. One thing I notice is, especially if you look at the bird mode, you can see there's like a big bar that's going from where his chest would be on the side down to where his legs connect. I'm wondering if that's a die-cast piece, because it just has like a shine to it that looks more like that than plastic.
What part are you looking at?
There's if you scroll down to like the second pick in the link, you see how there's a big bar on the side of him that goes down to his leg? You see that? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wondering if that might be die-cast just because of what its function is, and it just looks shinier, even in like the prototype.
I hope it's die-cast.
Yeah, that part probably needs to be, but we will see, because they've started to use die-cast, reformatted has, because, Skylinks, Magna definitely has some die-cast in them, and if they're going to make a bunch of big people like this, die-cast helps with certain parts. But yeah, I at first was not in on this, and after seeing this, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, man, I just love how this looks. I would love to have it. But let's compare it. Let's talk about how it compares with the Planet X one. So I swear there were pictures down here of that. Let me see.
Yes, we do have you have them in a second link.
I do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. All right. Let me mention this real quick. So X-Transbots on their on Savant's box, and that's their MP looking skids. There's a picture of the Tiger Breastmaster running alongside Crosscut. So that's going to be a G1 style Deathsorus. So if you want a masterpiece G1 styled Deathsorus, wait for X-Transbots, because you're not going to get that from MMC. If you are okay with MMC's size and all that, then their continuum version of DZEF will probably suit you just fine there. And then we have a link that has Planet X's Ismenios compared with the MMC one. So let's click on that and see what we get here. All right. So let's see. The robot mode for Planet X's, the legs are a lot more like rectangular looking. They're not as curvy. The chest looks kind of has like a wider chest. The arms are a bit more proportional. So he has that going for him. Let's see. On the back of MMC's, he kind of cleans up a bit better. Like the dragon head or the bird head on the back of Planet X's is just kind of hanging there where his butt is. So he's got a dragon head where his butt is, and you see the I don't know if those are like the arms or legs or what. I guess that would be the bird mode arms are just kind of hanging there on Planet X's. Let's see. They both have a sword, so that's cool. It looks like the Planet X's wings can fold up together and look a bit more like the G1 version. That's cool if you like that. Let me see what else. Now MMC's the tiger breast, the head of it is very rounded looking, and a lot of people think that looks really weird. Kind of looks like a Mouser from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I could see that. I do think the Planet X head is probably a little better there, but I'm guessing MMC did that to get a certain look in the robot mode for Deathsorus. That's my guess. Let me see. Then one thing I wonder about the MMC one, because if you look at the picture comparing the beast modes, the Planet X one looks like it can kind of Like the legs are a lot more chicken-like, how they're digigrade, and he can kind of lean forward a lot. And I'm wondering if the MMC one, if he has really strong ratchets, he can also lean forward like that. Because I think that would be cool to see if he could. It looks like the wings on the Planet X one might have a little more articulation than the MMC one. Because it looks like they can swivel like back and forth. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if the MMC one has that or not, because they don't show that in any picture. Let me see. Actually, yeah, it looks like it does. It would have that articulation point. They're just not using it. Yeah. So what do you guys think?
The flappy articulation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
flat.
the flappy articulation. So what do you guys think when you compare and contrast the pictures here? What are you liking? What are you not liking?
I'm looking at the Planet X version, the Beast mode, and it looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
He looks emaciated. The dragon head looks more like a turkey.
It's like they went way too IDW for that.
I guess.
Yeah.
The wings are the one
G1,
strong point.
I don't know.
The wings are really, they look really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the figures, like especially if you're looking at a side-by-side comparison to the MMC, when MMC just blows it away.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel too. I agree with you. Thoughts, Josh?
I'm actually of the opposite opinion. I think the Beast mode is where the Planet X one shines over MMC. As far as an attempt to represent an IDW design specifically. I think aesthetically, I think the MMC one looks cooler.
Yeah.
But as far as being a dragon, Planet X does better, I think. I actually like the Planet X head. It looks less like a bird to me, which is what I'm inclined to want, is something that looks less birdish. I like that it doesn't have the MMC version. The body of the kaiju is much more like a Godzilla,
Yes.
like a pear with legs and a head. Whereas the Planet X, I mean, RD was saying it looks emaciated. I think it looks slim.
Yes.
It looks more like a snake with limbs than like a pear with limbs, and I'm more inclined to the snakier side of it. I also like the tail. Planet X has a good track record with their Dinobot tails. And this looks like it's going along the same lines. Whereas MMC's tail is literally just the shield. And it's not doing a bad job of being a tail. You actually, I didn't notice it at first, but once I've seen that now, the tail looks super fat to me. And I like the slimmer tail on the Planet X version. I do think MMC's feet are way better. I would like to see if it's possible for Planet X to get the feet to have some splay to them specifically. But it looks like due to their placement in, where do they end up in? Looks like in robot mode they end up on the backs of his arms, so that could make that a little difficult.
Yeah.
But I believe that's where they end up on the IDW design as well. I think he has. No, I can't really see them there.
Right. I like the Planet X in bird mode. The claws look really awesome. Like they have some nice articulation in it.
Yeah.
The MMC one, like I would imagine you can articulate each of the fingers, but they're like really tiny looking. Whereas
it doesn't look like they can do anything.
Like the little vestigial arms.
Little.
Whereas the Planet X one, while overall the beast mode is much smaller looking, the arms look like they can actually do something. He looks kind of like a raptor.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
I also like in robot mode, the beast mode arms on Planet X end up on his back, and you actually you can see you've kind of got some freedom as to how you want to pose them. You can either have them pointed down, so they're hanging down his sides, which is what they've got them doing in one picture, but when they show him from the back, you actually can articulate them up so that they're sort of over his shoulders, which is actually what the character design looks like in IDW, which I like.
Cool.
I just like the very intimidating silhouette that he has with the large wings and these claws over his shoulders. Or not really over his shoulders, but behind his shoulders, because they're not like clawing over him or anything. They're out to the sides. Also, the Planet X has smaller hands that don't look ridiculous.
I'll give you that, yes.
Yeah.
There is not, despite everything I've been saying, there's not a clear winner for me yet. I need to see both figures in action. I need to see how the transformations work. I need to see what the prices are. I want to see how Planet X scales with the rest of my collection. I am leaning towards Planet X, but they need to do something about the robot mode head sculpt, because that's going to kill it for me.
Yeah.
Because that head is too goofy anime.
Yeah, he's got a big grin on it.
I am hoping that they do a different face. That this isn't what they're going to roll with.
Yeah. Yeah, that...
Because if it is what they roll with, that alone might be enough to make me go over the fence to MMC.
Yeah, that was...
And all this having been said, MMC's is still gorgeous. I love Mastermind Creations. I love their work, what they do. I just like the ideas that Planet X is doing better. I think MMC is doing a better job of what it's trying to do than Planet X is doing.
That makes sense.
They're both clearly trying to do different things.
Yes. You know, at first I was into the Planet X one, but after seeing this new tweaked prototype from MMC, I'm totally over to MMC for this. But I do think it's awesome to have options and different opinions. And that's what we bring to the table on Figure Nights Theater. But yeah, I'm also curious how much the MMC one will cost, because that is a big figure if it's like almost 11 inches tall, you know?
And we have pre-orders for the Planet X one, if I recall.
We do.
And I think they're like I want to say 115, 120, 130, somewhere around there.
Yeah, if my internet worked, I'd look it up for you. But it's being slow. And I can't get BBTS to come up, so never mind. Maybe the Chosen Prime will work. Let me see. I'm just curious what it costs. Oh, look, came right up. Planet X. Let's see what we got here.
I'm doing the same thing. Ismenios. Oh, okay. Planet X's Menios is actually 170.
Oh, wow. They
That's
might be very similarly priced then.
Yeah.
I don't...
Up there, I might go down to I'll buy the cheaper one.
Yeah, and there's no telling which one that will be. Yeah, he is 170, and I'm thinking like, wasn't Overlord from MMC like 190? And
yes, before tax, I think so.
Yeah, and this...
I know I paid 200 exactly for him at TFCon.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, Deathsorus looks a little shorter, you know, like an inch or two shorter than Overlord, and I'm like, yeah, that's, you know, but he's thick, so I'm like, I don't know what the price might be, but probably a little less than Overlord, so might also be 170, might be 160, or MMC might say, you know what, if we charge a little less, we'll probably sell more because people will buy ours. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that and see. All right.
Oh, I forgot we have pictures of Ismenios next to their Grimlock mold. and the body is roughly the same size. The wings make him look a bit bigger.
Interesting. So he's similar size to their their Grimlock is especially in Dino mode is enormous. Like he's barely smaller than the Masterpiece Grimlock in Dino mode. So that's going to be a big dude. All right. Any other thoughts before we move on? Nope. Okay. So we have some discussion topics, but I think we should just do one of them. So do you want to do the first one or the second one?
Well, Drew's not here.
Yeah, first one or second one?
Oh, there's a first one that's bolded.
Yes.
Let's do the bolded one.
Okay.
That's topical.
That is very topical. All right. We're going to talk about the Bumblebee trailers and what we think about them. RD, have you seen the Bumblebee trailers?
I did.
What did you think of the Bumblebee trailers?
I was kind of blown away by how G1 it was. They seem to really have focused on from what I think they seem to really have focused on what I think is a very small scene in the movie. It's like a flashback scene or something like that, right?
It looks like it's from the part of the war, and it's on Cybertron. Yes.
Yeah. And the majority of the movie will obviously take place on Earth, and what is that, the 80s?
Yes, it is the 80s. You are right.
But yeah, Soundwave looks fantastic. Optimus looks pretty damn good, and it kind of I was happy about it, but it also kind of pissed me off because I'm like, Michael Bay lied to me. Like we all wanted G1. Well, I mean, most the people that I associated with wanted G1, and Michael Bay was like, it won't look good, so I'm gonna do my thing. So I'm like, you bastard. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. I really enjoyed the trailer. I hope it's I hope it delivers with the G1-iness.
Yes. All right. Josh, thoughts on Bumblebee?
Okay, so it looks like the movie's going to be good.
Yes.
Like, I still have faith in the script and the performances. I'm a little concerned by, there's a boy. I didn't know there was a boy in this movie. But these trailers show the Charlie character with this boy, and I'm worried there's going to be a romantic subplot. I'm like, no. Can we have an action movie that doesn't have to have a romantic subplot that starts to compete with the actual action movie plot?
There's a chance.
That's just irks
There's a
me.
little chance that maybe they won't do that. Just have to see. Yeah, but what did you think of, there's the whole is it Blitzwing? Is it Starscream? Now we know it's Blitzwing. What do you think of how he looks?
I think I'm still questioning Blitzwing Starscream, really.
I think it's a misdirect.
Yeah, well, I would not be surprised to find it to be a misdirect, but if it is, it's a really, really serious misdirect. They are going all out on it for some bizarre reason.
Yeah, what one thing, Drew found it's like one of the cheaper toys for the movie. He found a render and it does say Blitzwing, but it doesn't look,
that's what I was alluding to.
But it doesn't really look like, what we saw in the movie, mostly because it turns into a tank, but it
it's a Revenge of the Fallen Megatron design with this Blitzwing character's head on it.
And that's weird, but that does give some credence to, okay, this is Blitzwing. Now, what one thing I've heard from like some other podcasts and discussions was that they maybe tried to do it as Starscream at first, and then were told by the studio or Hasbro even was like, no, Starscream has a very established look in the movie. We can't use him. You know, you're going to have to make that someone else. But I don't know if it's that or if they're like, oh, we're going to do triple changers, because it seems like all the villains are triple changers. There's like 2 new characters, like Shatter's one of them. I forget the name of the other one. And
Dropkick, I think.
Okay, yeah, Shatter and Dropkick, and then Blitzwing.
Oh, I do want to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But it does seem like the villain, that's who the main villains are supposed to be, is these 3 triple changers. And that's kind of cool. You know, for me, I like what I saw in the preview. It looks like a simpler story, which I think is a good thing, especially after the last 2, you know, live action movies. They were just all over the place and way too long and just had crazy scenes that didn't really add anything to the movie, things like that. This one seems simpler, which I like. I definitely like the Cybertronian footage. I thought that was awesome to see, you know, Shockwave and Tetrajets, you know, Soundwave ejecting Ravage. I thought was awesome. You see Optimus looking badass. I just thought all of that looked really cool. But there's one thing I've heard, like Bobby Skullface and some others say, was that part of the preview doesn't look as sharp and good and detailed as the rest of the preview. So I'm thinking they're not done working on the flashback part. Even if it's only like a 3-minute segment or 20 seconds. I'm sure it's longer than 20 seconds though. At least I hope so. I hope it's like a few minutes, you know? But I'm guessing they're not done working on that. I expect the final version of that to look way better. Because right now it looks a little video game-ish, I would say. But that's very common with movies where they, you know, they show you what they have so far and then they make it look way better before it's actually released. Unless you're Justice League.
Yeah. I remember when there were a couple of screenshots and very short clips from the trailers that popped out a couple of days before, and in particular we got that shot of Soundwave, and my immediate thought was, this is obviously a fake thing that some fan put together, because not only did just the design of Soundwave look really dumb to me, and not because it was G1, but because of the proportions. His head is huge. He looks just off to me. But besides that, he literally looked like he was standing in the background for a War for Cybertron trailer. Like, not just it had a similar aesthetic. Like, I felt like it was the actual models from War for Cybertron that they were using.
I could see that, yeah. What did you want to...
And just the overall...
Oh, go ahead.
Just the overall look of all the Cybertron scenes looked like the cutscenes from War for Cybertron aesthetically, as well as just rendering levels.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
And comparing that to, say, the scene in, I hate to bring up this movie, but Revenge of the Fallen, where Megatron, Starscream, and the Fallen are all on one of Jupiter's moons, and Megatron, like, we actually get a character moment between Megatron and Starscream, where Megatron actually beats up on Starscream, and Starscream's whimpering and being cowardly. And it's great.
It is.
It's I love that moment. That's actually one of the good moments in that movie. But also, I remember when I got the DVDs and was just watching the special features, there was this whole feature about specifically related to that scene and how it was an entirely CGI scene set not on Earth. Like, everything was completely made in computers, and how that one scene was hugely prioritized by Bay. He wanted to give that a ton of attention. He was very careful with it, and it shows.
Yeah.
For all the faults of that movie, you watch that scene, it looks like the rest of the movie. It looks real. Yeah. This Bumblebee stuff does not. And I find it hard to believe that we had the attention to detail from Travis Knight rolling around on the floor like Michael Bay was. The special feature that I specifically remember had Michael Bay, literally footage of him in an office rolling around on the floor acting out the scene in front of the animators. Like, no. So I want Megatron to grab Starscream, and Starscream was like up against the wall, and then he falls, and I want him to fall like this, and he does it, and it's great.
That's funny.
Like, say what you will against Bay, he cares.
Yeah. That's interesting. What were you gonna say about Shatter and Dropkick?
I like the story element that's being brought in with them, at least what appears to be through the trailer. There's this weird trope in Transformers where, for whatever reason, the military goes up against both the Autobots and the Decepticons. Or just randomly goes up against the Autobots and doesn't seem to acknowledge the existence of the Decepticons as a separate faction. Well, here, we have a really clever justification for that I was going to say we haven't seen before, but we actually have seen it in IDW, specifically with the Earth Defense Command and Galvatron. But what we have is the Decepticons going to Earth and going straight to, apparently going straight to the Earth's authorities, straight to the military, and saying, "Hi, we're from another planet. We're chasing a fugitive. Will you help us? By the way, if you don't help us, we'll consider you all to be harboring a criminal, and we might destroy your planet." So I like that idea of the Decepticons being clever and deceptive.
That is cool. And
plus, it's Angela Bassett doing that, and I love Angela Bassett. She's a great actress.
Really? That's her doing one of them?
Yep, she's Shatter.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I like her as well.
The Queen Mother of Wakanda, and a bunch of characters in American Horror Story.
I'm actually watching the new American Horror Story. I've never watched any of them other than a couple episodes here or there, and enjoying it very much so far. It's really crazy. And
I've been binging it recently. I just started the previous season tonight.
Oh,
actually.
cool. But
I highly recommend Hotel, by the way.
All right.
I do have one other big thing to say about the Bumblebee trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be the one that everyone's gonna hate now.
Go ahead.
This is why I started laughing when it was originally brought up. I hate the G1 designs in general for this.
All right.
And not because they're bad. I think except for Soundwave, they in general look pretty great. I don't like Shockwave's thighs either, but that might just be the angle of the one shot we've seen of him. But it looks like he's got some very large thighs.
They're thick in a good way. I thought they looked good, but they are big.
He's like Chun-Li, shockily.
Yeah, exactly.
My issue with it isn't the designs themselves. My issue with it is, okay, this movie is a prequel to the movies that we have had before. Hang on, when is this set? What's Shockwave doing? Why is he not on Earth? Why does he look like this? He was on Earth in a Cybertronian mode that looked nothing like this, apart from just being recognizably clearly a Shockwave. Just all of this inconsistency to me is very irritating. And on top of that, the aesthetic of all of these G1 characters, character designs, severely clashes with the aesthetic of the other characters, of Bumblebee, Shatter, Dropkick, and Ramjet, not Ramjet, Blitzwing. None of them match the Cybertronian designs. They're very distinctly different aesthetics, and I don't like that. They feel like they're from different series, and within the same movie, even.
I could see that. Excuse me.
So my issue with it is, I would have liked to, if they were going to lean towards a more G1 aesthetic, I would have, rather than have them take the G1 designs and just make them realistic and detailed and movie-ish, rather than do that, I would have liked them to take the movie designs and simplify them down to more G1-ish. To take, say, Ravage is also a big point of contention for me. Like, that looks absolutely nothing whatsoever like the Ravage we have seen before.
Yeah, the single eye Ravage.
Yeah, like, even if they had just taken this concept of Ravage that they have that looks very G1 and given him a head more like the Revenge of the Fallen design, boom, I would have been fine with that. But this leaning towards G1 at the expense of keeping consistency with the designs you've already established for these characters who have already appeared in this series really bothers me.
Yeah, that does make sense to me. And that is something I thought of when I saw the flashback footage as well. I'm like, well, why do they look so G1 if it's a different universe? Like, I think you have a very valid point there.
and unless this is ending up as a reboot, unless somewhere in reshoots they've restructured it so that it's no longer a prequel. If that's the case, then okay, I'm fine.
I'm almost positive that's what they did.
Then it's Bumblebee and Shatter and Dropkick and and Blitzwing who are the ones who stand out and don't match the rest.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that this ended up becoming a reboot. Like after they started production, and that that flashback scene with all the G1 looking characters. I think that's not even like you suggested before, Andrew. I think none of that is complete yet because it didn't look complete. No. It didn't have that polished look to it, like some of the other scenes do.
Yeah, and one thing, like, Bobby Skullface did a whole video about, his opinion on it, and he raised some good points. And, like, one theory he had was saying that after the reaction that they got, at SDCC, when Travis Knight said, that's Blitzwing, it's not Starscream, he said maybe then they really wanted to emphasize the flashback scene like a lot and really be like, oh man, the all these G1 fans aren't happy. We need to throw this in here and make them happy. But I've also heard the argument that, well, there's no way they would have all that footage if that wasn't planned at the same time the rest of the movie was. So who knows what's true or not? I don't. But
I think it's more likely that they were not necessarily originally intending to have that much of the Cybertron footage in the trailer, and that's why it looks so bad, was because not even bad, but that's why it doesn't look as strong as I think it should, is because they didn't have enough time to complete rendering those sequences, because they didn't plan on releasing those sequences so early. Like, maybe they were originally only planning to use, maybe, say, the shot of of Optimus or the shot of Soundwave ejecting Ravage. Maybe like they only wanted to use 2 shots, but suddenly we're told, okay, actually use 8 shots from the Cybertron sequence, and so they didn't have time to polish all of them.
That makes sense. But I'm hoping the movie will be pretty good and, you know, actually have story. And because it seems like it has less characters and is simple, they can actually give the characters some story and characterization. Like, you know, Angela Bassett playing, what was it, Shatter, you said? Yeah,
Yippers.
I'm like, she's very talented. I would hope that they actually use some of her acting ability, give her some, you know, a story and some lines, and not just be like, oh, this is thug number 2, you know? But we'll have to see. All right, I think we've chatted long enough here. We're gonna save. We have a really good discussion question concerning like what exactly is and what isn't G1, but Drew insisted that we do that when he's on the next episode, so probably we're gonna do another episode to cover the TFCon USA reveals. Hopefully we'll get some good ones there. Excuse me. Like MMC Grimlock would be great to see. But yeah, we'll wrap this one up. This is
3 weeks till TFCon.
That's right. Woo! So yeah, this is Figure Knights Theater, and this was episode 21. I'm Andrew Schatz. You can find me on Twitter at SchatzSpeaks. That's at SCHATZ Speaks. RD, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is at Galaxy _ sorry, at Galaxy _ Rangers, and also at RD _ Blade.
Awesome. And check out his Series 6 podcast. Really good stuff. Josh, give out your Twitter.
I am at T_F_Allen, 2 L's and an E. And can I plug something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have just today actually found out that I have been cast in a production of Man of La Mancha up in Northern Virginia at the Workhouse Arts Center in Lorton.
Oh, neat.
I don't have the dates of the show available to me offhand. I'm actually like trying to find them now, and it's their website's not great. But this is actually my first paid theatrical role since high school. I'll be playing Dr. Krasko, who is the villain of the show.
Very nice.
Yes, lots of fun there. But I do know that the show runs, I think, somewhere around November through January on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. So if you're in anywhere near that area, I'll have more information available by the next podcast, probably.
All right, awesome, and congrats on getting that role. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, congrats. Break a leg.
Thanks.
Yeah, and
shatter a tibia.
I will break Senor Quijana's leg.
There you go. All right, and of course you can follow Figure Knights Theater on Twitter. We're at FKT Podcast, and hosting is provided to us through the Audio Knights Theater. You can find them at TAKT Online on Twitter, and also look for the Audio Knights Theater that ends with TRE. Look for them on Facebook, YouTube, etc. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you for our TFCon show. Have a good night.
Peace.
Adios.
It's a tale of a girl with her hair in green curls. She can fix anything. Have like chocolate with a machine, but none of it makes her feel any less alone. Towers be crumbling, empires be rumbling, corporations need humbling. Each time we brought the war, the unclink tribe to you. You thought you won, but you're through. We were a calamity, now we're a family. We voted on the spaceship. I think the split was 3-2. It wasn't enough to me, so makes her fight any less hard for her life. Black ships are looming set to bring the doom in 6 in the Marauder, primed to bring your slaughter. Going straight for the juggler, cops and decent smugglers, but now we're a crew. Who knew? We voted on the station. I think that's what was leading to. It wasn't enough to me, so lucky. We voted on the station. Now you got a job to do. So don't screw up, 'cause we're counting on you. Space, no one can hear you scream.
Keep your eyes closed.
Your blood boils out.
Remember, the last person you saw was me
The calm
as I pushed
is
the big red
overtaking
button.
every